wet hacking cough.
Carson, can I tag you? Carson from 3DJoes is joining us.
Sure. Hey, we're live.
Yeah, sure.
Get with it.
As always, Joe Colton has something to say right as we go live. That has nothing.
Whatever.
First words.
When we say we're about to go live, Joe Colton takes that as, oh, I have 10 more minutes to talk about it.
Okay, we're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Colton takes that as, oh, I have 10 more minutes. I mean, it's madness.
Okay, we're going live in 3.
All the time. All the time.
Anyways, good evening, everybody. It's a little after 9 o'clock. What's on Show Mine TeamStream?
10 minutes.
I'm Mike Irizarry. With me, you see full house tonight as we have guests in the. What do we have a waiting room? Everything's virtual. I don't know what's going on. But we'll start with the regulars. The former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. He's the hot show, Mark Weber.
That's this guy. Right? Whole effing show. Yep.
Keeping the lights down at the Weber household so they don't reflect off of him.
Well, if I turn up the lights any brighter, all the Red Sox fans surrounding me out here are going to come pummel me for my Yankee hat. So just keep it on the down low.
I thought you were just going to spontaneously combust from the light.
You know what? I can make it turn red and we'll see what happens. But I don't think any of us is ready for that. So we'll just keep it here. Got the mood lighting going. It's all good.
And live from her living room, it's the queen of G.I. Joe cosplay. Joe Colton is with us.
Hi, everybody.
So, Joe Colton, I was pleased. I was impressed that you showed up early, and you still managed to talk when we started the.
You're welcome.
You're versatile. I'm impressed.
Notice again, G.I. Joe T-shirt.
Whatever.
What's the blue drink?
Some terrible Mountain Dew, right?
What is the blue drink? You have to answer that.
It's an alcoholic beverage for tonight.
Cheers. Cheers.
What is that? Is that you're trying to do an Australian accent? Do you have a Foster's or something?
I taught my daughter to cheers. She's got her little milk bottle, and when I say cheers, she goes, dink.
That's awesome. Solid right there.
Yeah, it's pretty great. 15 months, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Toasting already.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, joining us in tonight's fourth chair, our former co-host.
Thanks for having me back. Appreciate you guys.
Owner and admin of 3DJoes.com and breaker of the big news tonight. It's Carson Mataxis.
Hey, guys. It's good to be back, man. I have a soft spot for what's on Joe Mine. You guys broke the news on 3DJoes like 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
we freaking better have a soft spot.
Yeah.
Been trying to get back on the show how many times? And you're like, well, I got stuff to do.
I got a baby.
I have important people to interview and a baby to raise.
Right? Oh, that's right. Yeah, last Friday. We did push this a week, but it was well worth it because we got an awesome interview. More on that later.
Right.
Yeah.
But hey, we try. We try to keep you in the family here, Carson.
It's good to be here, man. I've been tuning in with you guys on a pretty regular basis. Like Friday nights, I'll see your live stream pop in, and I'll jump in and throw some comments up.
You are normally over in the live stream. I don't. What do we want to call that? Like the snake pit?
The peanut gallery.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh, I like the snake pit. I like the snake pit.
Man.
No.
Sure, we'll go with that. So normally, yeah, we do see you over in the snake pit with some of the regulars.
I feel like I usually end up chatting it up with your brother.
Well, now that we've made Rack Time Rob the
moderator,
nice,
drunk with power, so he may not talk to you anymore.
It's Oli. He's the booker.
He's the grouchy old man in charge of booking. Yes,
that's it.
The Rock, Ole Anderson. So, Joe Colton, what again? You didn't answer the question. What type of adult beverage we chugging down here?
It's some vodka with blue carousel.
All right. Was that so hard?
Some lime juice.
Was that so hard?
No.
That's all we wanted.
Depends on how much
vodka. Me.
Friday night, you're an adult. You get
like
to have whatever you want. Well, yeah, I mean, we can see it's mostly clear, so yeah.
Yeah.
Clear enough. But
it's been a long day.
Hasn't it though? Hasn't it?
I got off work at 7 p.m. So
you can tell by my zero sugar cream soda. Oh God, I gotta increase the booze budget. Is what I gotta do.
just don't get a $4 vodka. Those things are not good. Not good.
$4 vodka. I don't have the patience to get all the chunks out.
Surely Carson has a hookup for some Carolina moonshine. Send up your way, huh?
The stuff with the peaches and the raisins is the best. I'll tell you that.
There we go.
I never gravitated to the white lightning. You know?
Peaches and raisins. That's fruit juice, right? I mean, technically.
You could leave it there fermenting for a decade and still drink it. It's fine.
It's got vitamins.
It's good.
Is it fine?
It's good.
Terrifying.
It gets better.
Right.
Don't gravitate to the white lightning because you enjoy eyesight.
Can you run your car engine off of it?
No, all right, so I'll do a quick segue. When I was in college, I studied video at college, right? I did a rap video for this local rap group, and the name of the song was Con Liquor. And we went to Eastern North Carolina and went to some liquor houses, and I was in some neighborhoods. People like me were usually there, right? And so we had white lightning. We had the peaches and raisins. We had Spam sandwiches with mayonnaise. Like it was legit. They had the pig feet and everything. It was amazing. It was an experience.
Was those fried sandwiches? Those fried Spam sandwiches?
Yeah. Well, you just put it on. You cook it on the stove with some butter and toast it a little bit and throw the Spam on there with some mayonnaise. That was about it.
All right.
Have you had cow's tongue?
No. Mm-mm. Can't say I want to either.
Doesn't sound. That's not a bucket list item.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, we got lots of news. Let's get to that first.
Yes.
Look at that, Joe Colton. He's back for
Right? It's taken over.
Not just reclaimed his spot, but took a big chunk of yours too.
I used to love that part.
Just for tonight, Carson can do it.
I appreciate it.
Take the white job away.
Special effects department has sounded in. First news item. Kotobukiya has announced a Dawn Moreno statue. Dawn, of course, is Snake Eyes 2, and she will be the latest in the line, which has already spotlighted female characters Scarlet, Baroness, and Lady J. We don't have an image to show you because they didn't show us an image either. But I guess that's just kind of a keep your eyes peeled. You'll know it when you see it because those statues are pretty distinctive. We'll go to our lead female correspondent, Joe Colton. How do you feel? You're not pleased, Joe Colton. I'm going to guess.
I think that says it all.
Your silence speaks 1,000 words. What bothers me about it is that this is the first physical representation of Dawn Moreno, and it's going to be in a cheesecake statue, and that bothers me a little bit.
Why? Like, right? She's so badass. Like,
right. But Scarlet, Lady J, and Baroness are badass too, and I don't know. Again, not my cup of tea. Not my. What, $50, $70? I don't know.
So I saw the Baroness one in person at a comic book shop because I wanted to see what it looked like, and I was like, meh. It's pretty, but it's not like it's very curvy. She's very sexy, but to do that to Dawn, I'm like, Like, you can sex anything up. Carson's got one. That's
my motto.
Like,
this is his sexy Falcon bust.
Oh, or are you dressing up as Sexy Falcon?
This is shirtless Falcon. No,
maybe. Did you bring?
I was sure you were coming back with a Bishoju
Sexy Falcon.
Falcon, yeah, shirtless.
I have no issues with these statues. I mean, okay, so I understand the cheesecake argument.
Yeah,
but looking at it in person, the details on this are really nice. The textures on her pants, for example, her boots, like the sculpt detailing is incredible. It's a cheesecake style. Yes, it's a little over sexualized. And here's the biggest point that I take with it. With Dawn being given this treatment, she's a teenager. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
let her
Yes.
grow up a little bit, and then maybe cheesecake her. Don't at 18 years old. Didn't they tell her she
Yeah.
had to wait until she turned 18? And then as soon as she did, she could do basic, and then she could join the Joes or something. She's too young for that treatment. And the second thing I'll say is Zorana should be the next candidate for this treatment.
Yeah.
Zorana was the sexiest card art that they ever made for the Real American Hero line. If there's one female character I would pick for that treatment next, it would be Zorana.
Or Heart Wrencher.
Yeah, Heart Wrencher's awesome, but my heart lies at
Yeah.
the Real American Hero more. So
Wow.
but no, I've gotten all three of them. I haven't got the variants, but I mean, what won me over about them was the detail. The level of detail in the sculpts are really nice.
There's no argument really that they're great for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
If it's me, if I'm going to see Dawn Moreno represented in plastic, how about we make a classified figure of her first, or
Yeah.
put together a retro style figure of her in 3 3/4 size or something like that. That's all.
Mark, as a brand manager, Mark, why do you think they allowed this to happen? I mean, there's so many obvious things that are kind of wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, even in that same line, right? The one that Baroness looks like the Baroness in that style. Scarlet looks like Scarlet in that style. Lady J is pretty good. And then they put this weird ass hat on her, right? It's like an old school policeman's hat.
Do you have it? I haven't seen that one.
Look at this. Right? I mean, it's not a gung-ho level hat mess up.
Right. It's not the wrong military branch.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you have her in a baseball cap? That's her thing. It's a defining thing. If you're gonna put a cap on Lady J, and you don't have to, it's not like it isn't J without it, especially because her cartoon representation didn't have it.
Mhm.
But to have them, for God's sake, don't put the wrong hat on her. It looks like you don't know your own property. So, I don't know. It feels like they asked to do Dawn, and Hasbro went, okay, fine, sure, whatever. We're not doing anything with her. I think a real interesting question, though, is
knowing who Dawn Moreno was.
Why aren't they doing anything with Dawn? Because really, she had a pretty big rock to roll uphill, right? As a bit of a Mary Sue at the beginning. And she's the Snake Eyes replacement, right? Talk about big shoes. And you know what? She's kind of pulled it off, right?
Mhm.
There's not a lot of Dawn Moreno hatred out there. So, I don't know, maybe jump on board with that. It is weird to me that Hasbro hasn't taken more advantage of it. Now, granted, they haven't had a lot of retail lines to salt her into, but it is weird that this is the first representation of it. And the big point I was waiting to fire out with a bazooka, Carson beat me to. She's 18 in the comics, right? So, and we haven't seen it yet, but this entire line is built around sex appeal. It is. So, I can't imagine she's just going to be looking cool with swords. It's going to be a little bit problematic if you think of her as 18 years old. And one of the things that surprised me, because I haven't seen these in package before until Carson held it up. Why are they obscuring the figure so much on the front panel?
Yeah, there's barely any kind of cellophane to see in there. You can see it through the top a little bit, and you can see through the front a little bit. I was surprised, Mark, when this arrived in the mail, and I turned it around like, okay, where's the opening?
Right,
and then when you look inside of it, here, I'll actually crack one of these open.
So when I saw the Baroness, she was just on a stand, behind glass. So I didn't even know that that's how it came.
Yeah. I mean, I like the window box. I just wish the window were bigger.
It's bigger.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a tiny little window to.
There's a lot of design on that box. Yeah.
There's enough collectors that prefer to keep them sealed that I would think you'd want to show it off.
It's clamshell sealed between two pieces of plastic, but then inside of that, there's other plastic wrapped around her. So she's really you can see her face pretty good, but the rest of her is very obscured. So Mark, I'm thinking that's why they really didn't open that window panel up much, because there's honestly not much to see with all this wrapping material in here.
And that's to protect the paint apps, I guess?
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I'll crack it open though. We'll have a look at it if you guys have some time. We
Well,
can move on to something else. I'm gonna
all of a sudden-
mute my microphone.
It's an unboxing video.
Before you do that, Carson, I need some doots for next news item.
Okay.
All right. Next news item: Hasbro Pulse has launched in the United Kingdom. And surprise, surprise, the Cobra Viper sold out for them already too. But yes, Hasbro Pulse has launched in the UK, so fans on that side of the Atlantic can get a hold of some of the exclusives that have not been made available to them, that have only been made available here on our side of things in the US and Canada. And yeah, they're out of Vipers already. So before everybody starts
Freaking out.
Yeah. I think they sent emails asking if you wanted to hold on to your pre-order. No, that was just Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
They didn't, by the way, but
They did not. So
no.
But yeah, it's great. If you're in the UK, drop us a line. Let us know how that experience is going for you. I typically don't. I shouldn't say I typically don't. I don't really have any complaints with Pulse over here, other than we have to wait a little bit longer. But I've never had something that got canceled or anything by it. So
yeah, the usual complaint I hear is that they ship the Pulse pre-orders after the other retailers' pre-orders. But that's the only thing I hear people say negative.
But that's got to be part of their deal too, right? If they were shipping their stuff at the same time, or God forbid earlier, the retailers would absolutely have a gigantic problem with that. So, you know, it may have been a surprise to some people, but it is the norm, and it won't change. So, you know, at this point, you're either down with it or you shouldn't be ordering. But like Mike said, I've had zero problem with any of my Pulse interactions or orders. Or I had a Scarlet with a cracked neck seam that I sent them a picture of, and they just sent me a new one. They didn't ask for it back. They just went, here you go. Sorry about that. Like, Hasbro's customer service is absolutely first rate.
I've seen several testimonies online on Facebook mainly that echo your sentiments, Mark, that if something broke and they contacted customer service about it, that they sent them a replacement figure, either the same figure or something of equal value, supposedly. So, I mean, I will posit this. Having her in hand, the only thing that's like sexually seductive about her is like it's a little tight in the derriere area, right? But other than that, it's tight. But other than that, I just don't. I'm okay with these, and it's weird to be made to feel guilty about wanting to buy a G.I. Joe collectible. This is the first G.I. Joe collectible I can remember where somebody on Facebook tried to shame me because they were talking negatively about these, and I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it's a blah blah blah, and they were like, you should be ashamed, kind of thing. So it's an interesting position to be in as a collector, to want to buy something that's G.I. Joe, and then to have other people make you feel bad about it.
So in other words, there's lots of reasons that you should feel ashamed, but that's not one of them.
Thank you.
Right.
I appreciate that, Mike.
All right. That's what I'm getting from that.
Her hat is very distracting. Like, now that
it's huge. It's huge.
Right?
It's almost Mario Brothers esque.
Oh, that's it. She should be jumping up and getting coins right now.
Is that the Mario? It's pretty awesome though, man. The details, the knife on the boot, the way the pants are tucked in and folded, and all the creases and everything. Like, the details are they're nice on these.
Yeah.
Those pants are definitely
nice. It's just not my forte.
Yeah, I get it.
The pants are definitely tucked in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like the Sideshow collectible. Remember the giant Baroness, that like the really nice looking? Yes. Like, that to me is sexy.
It's very sexy. It's no tighter. It's no less tight than this is. You're talking about the premium format figure with the cloth covering the derriere. I'll show it to you. It is every bit as tight as that is.
Yeah.
Do you want to say?
But I don't know what it is. Like, it's different. I don't know. That's the Don Moreno one is like just freaking me out.
Mark, we're gonna test this. I'm gonna show you the Baroness, and I'm gonna show you Lady J, and you can tell me if it's any different.
What's more impressive than Carson having any random thing we mention in his collection is that he has it handy. He knows where
Yeah.
everything is, right? Oh, here we go. Zooming in.
I really didn't see this being the direction this episode took.
Carson showing us like the axis of figures.
Right. I mean, in the name of equal opportunity, Carson, you got any of the like 5 figures you want to show off and ask for? Or?
To be fair, Joe Colton was the one that brought this topic up. I'm just illustrating it with the products.
Yeah.
I mean, we get you. I'm just saying, like
This is a great.
For our
It's a
female
really nice figure.
for our female viewers, do you have any of the guys you can show off in a similar way?
Yeah, which one do you want?
We don't care. Do I care? I don't care.
I love this figure.
Mercer.
I think this figure's just gorgeous.
Mercer.
Go get a Mercer.
Mercer and Recondo.
Oh no.
Ooh, I've got a custom sideshow Recondo I'll pull down for you.
There you go.
Just for Joe.
This will turn into like the Carson shows off his toys show. Got to be careful with this. It happens.
You know, if you were a Hollywood couple, you'd be Racon's Joe. See what I did? So good.
Carson's Moonshots tonight at 9.
Right? Ask Carson questions on what's on Joe mind.
All righty.
Yeah, I was gonna say Duke or some other male figure.
Anyways,
Carson dressed as a Falcon.
Carson, gotta get some next news item dudes.
He's on mute.
Oh,
Doot, 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 doot.
he is Joe.
Oh!
Totally stealing Joe Colton's
He
gig.
is Joe.
Wow.
He took your whole shtick. He's drinking. He's muted. He's dooting.
It's like we're the same person. We're the same person.
It is page 1 out of the Joe Colton playbook tonight. Wow. Wow.
I've been taking notes.
Clearly. I mean, Joe Colton, it'll be 5 years since she joined the show in April. So that's a long time to figure out that when he talks.
This is where like he puts me out to pasture and gets to like
is on. Yeah, 5 years. Clearly, 5 years is it. Because, you know, in 10 years in May, it will be me doing 10 years. So clearly 5 years is the limit. Anyway.
I want a gold watch or something. Do we get a statue? What do we get?
I'll figure something out. Maybe some dollar.
Get you one of those gold dukes from the rec room or something.
I've got a gold Duke from the
There
rec
you
room.
go.
Yeah.
We'll just re-gift you that.
As I recall, traditionally after 5 years is when they eliminate your position. So I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
That's your experience.
That's what I heard that happens.
ouch.
That's terrible.
Next news item.
Anyway, Batman to face Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
In the upcoming Batman Fortnite 0 Point series, in issue number 3, Snake Eyes will square off with the Dark Knight in a comic event that is surely not to be missed. The book will be available on May 18. And for those that are concerned, Racktime Rob has recovered fully from his cardiac care and is resting comfortably. As Racktime Rob is both the foremost Snake Eyes fanboy and the foremost Batman fanboy that any of you know, and I'm not taking arguments. But yeah, Snake Eyes versus Batman. That came out of left field, didn't it?
Yeah. But
I
it's
feel
Jim
like-
Lee.
I feel like it's the comic gods like apologizing to Rob for Dead Game. Right? Like, okay, we get it. We will give you Batman versus Snake Eyes. How's that?
Not apologizing to Rob Liefeld.
no.
Got it.
To
Okay.
Racktime
No.
Rob.
Got it.
Racktime Rob.
That makes
Only.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Because I was gonna say the last highly touted book was Liefeld coming on Dead Game, and we saw how that went. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't talk about Rob Life.
Mark Weber, who you got, Batman or Snake Eyes?
I'm going to bet about 2/3 of the way through, they realize they shouldn't be fighting each other, and then they go after the real villain.
That was not the question. Who you got, Batman or Snake Eyes?
I mean, come on. I mean, really? I guess they're both ninjas, right? But come on, it's a G.I. Joe show, right? This is not what's on Batman's mind, right? So, yeah, I got Rich Boy falls in the 3rd round.
Joe Colton.
Eat it, Bruce Wayne.
I'm gonna go Batman on this.
Come on now. No
But I
guns
do
for
agree-
Batman, right? Oh,
Oh.
yeah!
Mike, did you get rid of her?
Carson, who you got?
Sausage party! Oh.
Yeah. Batman's got some ninja training, yes.
Yeah.
Right? He went and trained under Ra's al Ghul if we're following the movies. He's not Snake Eyes. He doesn't.
No.
To me, Batman's also a detective. He's also a rich guy with gadgets. He's so many other things. Let Snake Eyes be the better ninja and kick his beep.
I do agree with Mark though. They're halfway through. They're gonna come together and like
Yeah.
fight the real bad guy.
Well, of course.
But honestly, like 10-year-old me would be totally fine with that. Like I try to like put away my pessimistic 40-year-old mentality and look at the fact that there's a Snake Eyes and Batman crossover coming, and 10-year-old me would have thought that was the coolest thing ever. And just like let it be cool, you know?
I think Wizard Magazine did this back in the day.
Yeah.
They used to have a segment where it was two characters from totally different universes that would square off, and I think they did Batman and Snake Eyes. I'm taking Snake Eyes because this is a G.I. Joe show,
Right.
and I'm with the honcho on that one. I'm also so sick of Batman at this point that
He's everywhere.
just
And I'm a Batman fan, but he's everywhere.
look, I love Batman, but I can't take it anymore. I can't do it anymore.
I can't do his origins one more time. Like my mom is reciting his origins to me,
Right.
like
So you're not
78-year-old woman.
So Mike's not buying the 3 new Batman titles launching next week?
No,
Okay.
Mike
Fair
is
enough.
not. I'll bet you Rack Time Rob is.
Yeah, you can just read Rob's. Then
There you
they're
go.
free.
Batman and Snake Eyes is the brave and the bold issue I never got but always wanted. That's fair. And I will vouch for that. That is truth. That is the brave and the bold that he always wanted, never quite got. So we're taking Snake Eyes in the mid rounds.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
And if Batman's such a great detective, he can figure out his own murder. I know who killed him.
So,
Snake Eyes.
anyways, May 18th, right around the time for my birthday. So everybody can buy me a comic.
Yeah.
Next news item.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
The Hasbro YouTube channel ended the Real American Hero live stream.
Womp womp.
After over 3,000 hours of nonstop 1980s G.I. Joe animated goodness, the YouTube live stream of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero on the Hasbro channel quietly ended just a couple of days ago on March 10th. And this made me incredibly sad because I had an itch to watch Operation Mind Menace, and it wasn't there. But 3,000 hours of live streamed G.I. Joe cartoons. Now, the G.I. Joe YouTube channel, the specific G.I. Joe one, has started live streaming Renegades.
Oh.
So there's a substitute in place, and I'm going to guess that they're moving, Real American Hero away from the Hasbro channel and over to the G.I. Joe channel. So I get it. You figure once they launched the G.I. Joe channel on its own, that live stream was on borrowed time anyway. But oh man, I went to it last night because I needed something to help me go to sleep, and it wasn't there, and I was crushed. Carson, what's your favorite episode of the old cartoon?
It's a two-parter, Worlds Without End. It's the kind of, to me, the most mature kind of, it dared to go places that I thought the cartoon was usually mostly entertaining and, in my opinion, mostly for younger people, right? While the comic book was the mature entree into the G.I. Joe mythology. And for once, like when this cartoon came on, I was like, wow, it's like the cartoon has like stepped it up maturity wise and is almost, competing with the comic in terms of some heavy storytelling here and some mind bending storytelling, going into a different world with certain characters dead and certain bad guys are good and good or bad. And it was awesome, man. I love that two-parter.
Those two-parters got you though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That one, there was the Traitor, which was pretty heavy stuff.
They had more time to develop a more sophisticated storyline.
There was No Place Like Springfield, where Shipwreck got bamboozled into a completely different life. I mean, that is some messed up stuff, right?
Yeah.
That one messed me up a little bit when I was younger.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't understand and it freaked me out. And so Yeah, but when I got older, obviously it doesn't bug me now. But now, like I remember being like, no, that should not happen. What is happening? No, I don't like this, and like
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
That one still bothers me. I remember being a kid watching that and just thinking, God, shipwreck, you poor guy. What happened, man? But yeah, Mark Weber, your favorite episode of the old show?
I mean, the funny bit about Worlds Without End is I looked at it differently than almost anyone else because I was a big Steeler fan, and Steeler got almost no representation on screen, right? So I was pretty happy that Steeler was getting some time, and then he spends half the time like on Reefer Madness, right? Just running around with his hands in the air. Ah! But who's the only guy to land the Baroness except Destro, right? And G.I. Joe Cannon. It's my man Steeler, baby. Taking care of business. So pretty fun. But I love the original mass device. Like that was absolute torture for me because I was in for Joe. Like G.I. Joe was my jam. And this is before we had a VCR, and it came on at 3:30. And I didn't get home from school till like 3:48 if I ran from the bus stop. So I could just hustle and bust it home and catch the last 12 minutes of it. Right? It was such a cruel tease. But that's the way it worked in the Weber family, man. So
how did you catch up on the cartoon then?
I think I had to wait for it to come out on VHS, right? And then rent it. Like it was torture.
Did they not do the reruns again, like on Sunday?
I think they only showed them. I think they only showed them once. Yeah, that one time. And at some point, they were on TV when we could watch them. But they had that original time slot in Bend, Oregon, was at 3:30 in the afternoon, and it was just killer for me. Like I was trying to find kids I didn't could become better friends with who lived closer to school. Hey, how about I come over to your house after school just this week? Every day. And the next Monday we'll just pretend like it never happened. But it never
I only
actually
like you for these 5 days.
Right. Hey, Tim Roberts, let's hang out just this week.
Tim Roberts just didn't hang around.
No.
Joe Colton. What's your favorite
Same
one?
as Carson. It was good. I like the adult the adult content. It was more serious. It was like very campy and I loved it. And it was fun to watch everything. But yeah, like when they did serious episodes like that, I was like, okay, this is like what I like. This is because I remember watching movies with my dad and it was more action and more adult content or with my parents. And it was just, I was used to like action movies of the 80s, which had more adult content. So
right. I swear, like hadn't Red Dawn come out by then? I felt like this was G.I. Joe's Red Dawn. Like now we're the insurgents and we're fighting. You know what I mean? It was so much more mature. I loved it.
And how many times did we see a helicopter explode and then the parachute open up, right? As the pilot got out. And now you're actually seeing skeletons of Joes in their old uniforms, right? Like that was, I'm still surprised they got that approved.
How did that get past they had that writer's guidebook where there was things you were allowed to do and then there was things you were not allowed to do, showing people blow up in jets and not parachute out. You weren't allowed to do that. So how were they allowed to show skeletons in G.I. Joe uniforms?
Got me.
Because they didn't show them actually getting killed. They were just,
they were just already dead.
There were other episodes that had skeletons in.
It's a strange loophole, but not dead Joe. They were like animated mummy skeletons, maybe,
Well, and somewhere in there, they were allowed to get Steeler on a bad LSD trip, running around for like 20 minutes.
Amazing.
Live Grunt is standing there with a skeleton dressed as Grunt, saying, "Well, that ain't me. I ain't dead." I guess that's your loophole. Right?
Maybe nobody recognized him as a Joe because that was his first speaking line.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the next episode after that, after Worlds Without End, has Grunt with a speaking part. He's in another universe, but he's back and he's flying a Falcon glider and he gets lines.
Talking.
But you're gonna die flying a Falcon glider. Like I have a friend who flew one at a joke on and it didn't end well for him at all.
No.
Terrible.
No,
wasted 3 weeks building that thing.
It was great.
No, it was fun. It was fun. Actually, you guys probably saw pictures, but I just hung those up after all these years. They finally are hanging in the office.
Really?
Yeah, they're hanging. That's awesome. It actually makes my office feel a little smaller though, because they're hanging from the ceiling. I'm
They
like,
take a lot of space.
I'm not sure if they're gonna stay, but for now they will.
You got to try to strap a dachshund into one of them and take it for a test flight.
No,
So
they
good.
don't. They fly worse than the originals, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyways, next news item.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And this is the big one.
Do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
He did it himself.
3DJoes, Joe Declassified, and other sites are teaming up to provide the ultimate fan resource. And this is the press release that was released just maybe 2 hours ago.
Mhm.
Please join us and buckle up for the ride at 3DJoes.com. The ultimate G.I. Joe team up has arrived. The driving forces behind 3DJoes, Joe Declassified, Yojo, RAHC guidebooks, and Joe Intel are officially combining forces. Together, we will transform 3DJoes into the one-stop ultimate repository and definitive archive of everything related to the brand you love. From vintage to modern to foreign, we'll cover figures, vehicles, playsets, accessories, variations, pre-production development, marketing materials, licensed products, comics, and more. From Real American Hero to Sigma 6 to Classified, all will be fully cataloged and explored. A reputation for excellence, meticulousness, research, and analytic integrity was earned by each of the preceding projects. The combined efforts of these passionate archivists will dwarf anything the G.I. Joe community has ever enjoyed. We're building an enduring project and legacy that has been, is, and will forever be by fans, for fans. Please join us and buckle up for the ride at 3djoes.com. So first off,
That's right.
Yes.
that is good to hear, Carson. It's why specifically why you're here tonight, despite the fact that you have an open welcome.
Well, I usually join you guys on the live stream and throw comments in, but I'm very happy to be here to talk about this. It's something that we've been talking about for months and months. And, it was born out of necessity with Yojo being purchased by Vertical Scope, for those that don't know. Back in 2018, Yojo was acquired by a Canadian company that has a habit of acquiring thousands of websites that are community-based to, beef them up with ads and not necessarily put time and effort and money into continuing to grow those sites, but just kind of ride it out. And so I'm good friends with several of the folks that have been building Yojo for more than a decade. Yojo's 20 plus years. Terry's been there for 15. Philip's been there for a good amount of time. My good friend Chad Huckle has contributed a massive amount of photographs to the vehicle portion of it. Yojo has been built by probably, I would say, more than 100 contributors, right? And over the 20 years, there's probably been about 15 or 20 admins that have contributed massive amounts of hours to building it up. So for this thing to be frozen in time as of 2018, there's no new figures added since then. And the admins were having a lot of trouble getting Vertical Scope to realize the value of the archive and enable them to continue archiving. We had a big problem on our hands as a community. And so a lot of conversations started being had by people who love this brand, care about this brand, and want this brand to have this kind of resource. And as different outlets were investigated and other options were exhausted before we arrived at this decision. There were attempts to purchase Yojo back. There were discussions of starting something new. There was all kinds of different scenarios that people were talking through. And I was a part of those conversations and happy to be a part of them. Even if it didn't involve, everybody coming and helping me to build what I've been building, I was happy to, entertain discussions of contributing my stuff to whatever the next thing is. And we just ended up arriving at the smart decision is I've got the infrastructure, I've got the framework, I've got the brand recognition that I built up over the last 9 years, that it did make sense to throw that out to start something new. And Vertical Scope was not interested in taking a very realistic offer. So other options were exhausted, and we started talking about, well, what would it look like if we grew 3DJoes to be what we described in that press release, to cover all of those different eras, and not just to cover toys, to cover pre-production, marketing materials, everything. Declassified is super passionate about this thing covering everything. And I'm like, that's great. I will help make it happen. But I'm one person, right? And I can only do so much. And you guys have seen what I've done over the last 9 years. I've done a lot, right? But what's described in that press release, is beyond me. And it will not happen with just me doing the work. So what was necessary was to partner up with people that have years and years of love and dedication to G.I. Joe, that have proven themselves to be supremely dedicated and willing to give up the time and effort and, to collect the stuff, to document the stuff, to share the stuff, to research the stuff and be accurate and factual when you're sharing things. That's very, very important. So yeah, when we started having those conversations, it was an open door, and it's an open door right now to anybody that has, taken on these kinds of projects and proven that they have a dedication to archiving. I don't want to spin everybody up and get, because I've tried this, I'll be honest. In the last 6 months to a year, I've asked for a lot of help, and I've gotten 20, 30 volunteers, and 1 or 2 of them have done actual work. And that's just how it happens. I'm not talking down on anybody, but that's the reality of it. Once you see, oh God, this is actually work and it takes a long time to do this stuff, people tend to kind of back away, So what's important about this is it's James Kavanaugh that's done the RAHC guide and all the rank and file guides. It's Joe Declassified that have put on booth after booth after booth at the conventions, that have put together magazines that they were giving away at the conventions with all the pre-production stuff. Joe Intel, Dan Moore's a good friend of mine that had an amazing website that just went away when he was off at war, and the guys that built the site, something happened from an IT perspective and it was hard to recover it. Dan Moore's been on 3DJoes as an admin for the last 6 months. And if you guys go now under the license tab, you're going to see a tremendous amount of awesome pages that Dan Moore has been personally building. So he was kind of the test, Dan Moore. He's not a web guy. I'm not a web guy. This was my first website. All right. So that's something I want to make abundantly clear to everybody out there. This is what you see is what you get, drag and drop web development that I can teach anybody with a bit of computer knowledge how to do. And so don't be scared to come to me and say, hey, I want to help with this portion of the website. Because if you do, and you're serious and you want to give hundreds of hours to it, I'm going to enable you to do that. So anyway, I'll take any questions you guys have about it.
Hundreds.
Are you insane?
Certifiably, yes. My therapist would confirm that. No, I honestly think I have a very. Have you guys done the Enneagram tests? Have you ever taken this test? The Enneagrams, it tells you personality types. I think it's 1 through 9. So I'm a number 3, which is an achiever. My dad had the Mataxis family goal board when we got our black belts and Eagle Scouts by the time we were 12. And then I'm also the investigator, which is a number 5. And what investigators do is take one topic or one subject and they go deep, like so deep. So that's what I've done with G.I. Joe. Once I took the Enneagram test, I was like, yeah, I'm a number 3 and I'm a number 5. That's like totally accurate. So I don't know if I would say I'm crazy, but I'm the specific
You're
combination.
passionate.
I'm
It's
that
very
combination of personality type that you need to do this kind of thing. So
I think it's great.
am I crazy? That's a great lead-off question.
That's a big project.
First question. I see it in the live stream, and it's going to be it's my first question as well, even though I kind of know the answer. 3DJoes to this point has always been about 1982 to 1994. There have been times where you have fought us on this very program, dared suggest that 3DJoes should expand into other areas. That fence is gone, isn't it?
It has to be. Like I said, this has to happen. I felt like that saying no was no longer an option. Because when I looked at what were the other options, Yojo's frozen 2018. There is a new admin that they brought in. That's an old admin that's working to try to overcome those barriers that the previous admins have had for the last couple of years. And I wish them well. And I've told them that if you can save Yojo, Godspeed. I wish you all the best. And I hope you can do it. But that said, we had to start planning for what was next. There's 3 years worth of documentation that hasn't happened now, and that's just going to keep growing, right? So what are we going to do about this? So what we're going to do is we're going to partner up with people that are committed to the line and have been for years and years, and we're going to build out what felt like an insurmountable task to me. I personally could not do 1997 to now all myself. I do have dozens and dozens of contributors that send me paperwork, that send me products to spin and photograph and everything. And so I don't want anybody watching this to feel like Carson's saying he's done everything all by himself. I've certainly had dozens of contributors, and I love those guys and ladies. But I couldn't do 1997 to now, and that's why I always resisted whenever you would bring that up. But now when people are coming to me and saying, what are we going to do? I've said, I'm going to build template pages. I'm going to spin people up. I'm going to teach them how to build pages. I'm going to enable people to pursue their passion of archiving and give them that creative outlet that I have loved for the last 9 years. And hopefully it's contagious, and all we need is 4 or 5 or 6 crazy people like me to take a section at a time and just build this thing out. So
yeah, that's how you can only do it though. Like you can't, it's daunting, like you said, all at once. But if you take, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. I was just talking to Ted, aka Skinny. He's like, hey, congrats on the big news. Does that mean I'm going to be writing comic reviews for you now? I was like, are you kidding me? When can you start? Like, let's have a call this week. I'll teach you how to build pages, and we're off to the races, And I'm
like, sure before you had finished saying when can you start, he probably had 5 of them attached in an email.
I'm ready. I already wrote them.
Project proposals, emails in my inbox, So, but those are the types of people that, I need to enable to give, I need to give them an outlet for sharing their passion for G.I. Joe. If we can all form like Voltron, we can accomplish this thing. It felt like an insurmountable task with just me being the only builder. I had a lot of contributors, but I was the only builder. And so bringing on Dan Moore from Joe Intel about 6 months ago and teaching him to build, that really showed me like, yeah, people can do this and they will do this if I enable them. So that's kind of where it started.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Question right there: will there be that ninja guy?
Which ninja guy?
I don't. It's clear. That's the question right there.
Snake Eyes.
Tijabang, probably.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
This is a conversation that I was having regarding the versioning on Yojo and kind of the accepted way of organizing things. And we have an opportunity here to potentially maybe go in a different direction. What would you think if there was like classified Snake Eyes version 1 versus Snake Eyes version 87 that happens to be classified 6-inch?
I think that would be fine. I think I have always been of the thinking that different body construction is kind of a reset button.
Yeah, different scales. Different scales.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or even just from like I'm the type that doesn't even mix the modern construction with the O-rings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the O-ring guy, just for clarity's sake, the O-ring guys kind of have their own section as compared to the 25th and 20th through 50th anniversary sets. Just to keep us from getting into a situation where we've got Snake Eyes version 146.
Because it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I'd be all about just their chocolate and peanut butter, so to speak. They're two great that taste great together, but
yeah. I think with the construction, that's an argument. I'm sure people will fall on both sides of that. But I don't think anybody would have a problem with actual scale difference, right?
Sure.
Like 3 3/4 to 4 inch is kind of one thing. Sigma 6 is something else altogether.
Another world.
Yeah, and then classified as something else, and 12-inch is something else. Yeah, and the little Creon guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Yojo did Creo and got to Snake Eyes, but I was wondering, like, was he included in the 80-something versions?
Right.
So to me, if it's a completely, Mark, I like the way you're talking about it. If it's a different construction, different scale, a different universe, start at 1.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people, you collect what speaks to you, and there are a lot. Like I'm a diehard Joe collector. I didn't collect the Creons, right? I didn't need Creo Joe, but I got Built to Rule, right?
Okay.
Because those were 4-inch Joes, right? And that's the only place to get hollow point.
Were they
Back in the
4-inch?
day, right?
I didn't
Yeah, they
realize
were.
they were 4-inch.
Well, 3
Okay.
and 3/4, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they 2-ish.
Right.
So to me, they're part of my Joe universe, but I don't
Awesome.
have many 12-inch Joe figures, right? I don't have many Sigma 6. So if I'm looking to, you know, complete my collection, I don't necessarily even have to look at those scales for the things I chose not to collect. And I've always thought that was the beauty of collecting, is everyone defines their own collection, and no one can tell you it isn't complete if it's something you don't need. Like, even as a kid, where there was no Joe left behind, if it was on the peg, I wanted it until Cobra Law showed up, right?
Really?
Didn't
Okay.
need it, never wanted it, never bought it, never owned any of them. And
Did you watch the movie?
yeah, that's why I didn't buy them.
Wow, you hated it that much.
I liked, even though some of the sci-fi-ish elements are some of the best seasoning Joe ever had, right? I really liked the authentic the more authentic military it was, the better.
Yeah.
So I was a Footloose, I was a Falcon, I was a Hit and Run. Anytime they put out a guy just in camo with a rifle, I'm all over that. So
yeah, Hit and Run was a breath of fresh air in 88 for sure.
And it didn't mean I didn't like Flash or Sci-Fi or any of the other guys who pushed the envelope a little bit. But, you know, like, I just think everyone defines their own collection. And most frequently, that's done by scale. So I could totally see you arranging it like that.
Nice. Well, I appreciate y'all's input on that. It's one of those conversations, one of many conversations that we've been having. I've already, we've already set up the template pages, and we're absolutely doing classified. So this is kind of a coming fast and quick, and we need to make some decisions on it. Mike, there's definitely some questions I could answer from the comments.
Well, here's one that I have in common with the comments from our down under, Crocodile Joel McMullen.
Sure.
Who's going to foot the bill?
Yeah. So the good news is, for now, it's just me, because I'll be footing the same bill that I've already been footing. The hosting, I've got the hosting and the pro memberships that I need, and it's unlimited hosting, man. So we can just continue growing this thing. The ARC spin subscriptions that I've been paying for, basically,
label unlimited.
Long story short, I know, until they shut me down, like, we'll see how it goes. But they're owned by Square, so they're a pretty big company. If they're worried about my website, Square's got bigger problems, I would think. But anyway, so the good news is our costs will actually not be going up very much. I've already bought the extra, kind of domains and stuff that I want, because I'm going to bifurcate this out in a few ways. So I've already got what we need. The templates are already set. The ARC Spin subscription cost is not going up. I'm already offsetting those expenses with the books and posters. Granted, my books are sold out. I've only got volume 3 left, so that's kind of petering along. And the posters are only $5 a piece now, so I'm not making a tremendous amount on those these days, but it's enough. And Chad and I have been working very hard on the omnibus hardcover that's coming up. And so hopefully that'll be profitable enough that it will offset the 3DJoes expenditures. But that said, one of the big, in many ways, over the last 9 years, I've said, I'm not doing 97 and now. And now I'm saying, okay, fine, I'll do 97 and now with a lot of help, right? I've also said I'm not going to turn ads on, because I think ads are tacky and junk up the site, make it less mobile friendly. And the argument was made to me that we should turn ads on, and that the people that are making the effort, putting in time and energy, we can incentivize them with a paltry amount of money that advertising revenue will bring in. It is, nobody can do this for a living. I want to be very clear about that. We've had over 1 million page views from 160,000 people over the last year, just the last calendar year. And I looked at what would monetizing that look like, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20,000 maybe. And so if you think about the massive amount of hours that go into it, nobody should do this for the money, right?
Right.
But the fact that I was told that several people would like for it to be incentivized and profit sharing, who am I to say no to that? So if they're going to come in and help me do this task that was insurmountable, and the whole community benefits from it, and all I have to do is come off of my high horse about ads to make that happen, then that's probably more than likely in our near future. So Big Bad Toy Store, if you're listening, I want you to be our
Mhm.
exclusive sponsor. If anybody knows anybody at Big Bad Toy Store, push on them a little bit.
And
Say
now
3D
you
Joe's
know,
is good stuff.
like
I might know a guy.
if somebody
go.
else is watching
Might.
that's not Big Bad Toy Store, you've gone and shut them out.
Yeah, push them a little bit. Hey, if not, I'm coming for Roma Collectibles. They're my number 2. Kidding, Aaron. I wouldn't do that to you. So,
Joe
all
Colton
right.
has a question, but she's muted.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh!
I
There
said
you
I'm
are.
really good friends with his wife, so if you
Oh wow, really?
yeah, Roma Collectibles.
Oh, you're talking about Roma. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to Aaron. I'm asking for too much, probably. But I think it's a very fair offer. Anyway, Carson, will you be creating pages for little-known characters that Yojo is currently missing, like Duke and Destro? That is a low blow, Rob.
Yeah, see, there's the reason why that one didn't get on screen.
Yeah. But I'll call him out.
That's
Did you
not
delete it?
that's not the fault of the people that are running the site.
Oh no, absolutely. For people that don't understand what happened, this company bought this website and migrated it from the old servers to the new servers. And when they did that, some things are broken, and things seem to be breaking more often frequently. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. Are we limiting this to figures and vehicles only, or are we looking at everything? Joel, we're looking at everything. The press release was put together by me and the guys at Declassified and RAHC Guides, and we're all committed to trying to build out, other licensed products as well as toys, marketing materials, pre-production, all that kind of stuff. Philip said Yojo always changed the numbering when they change the scale, so great, let's do that. All right, so somebody was asking me if I was going to do a figure identification. Do we want to do a little screen sharing real quick and show everybody what the updated figure pages are going to look like?
Let's do that.
Let's do it. All right, so this actually, I was going to show my YouTube page real quick. That's actually for what I got in. I'll show you that later. So this is the updated Flash page. So it's got the traditional 360 spin that you guys are used to seeing. It's also got the action figure image gallery. So this is kind of what they call the morgue shot at Yojo, popularized by Yojo.com and contributed by Philip. So thank you, Philip. Front, back, side, and then you've got geared up photos. And then you've got, this is my favorite, the card art recreation photo. Because if you slide down and look at the card art, he's beautifully kind of recreated that pose. We've got updated mint on card photos that Chad and I have been working on very hard for the omnibus hardcover that's coming up. So these are completely revised and so much better looking than what we had before. We will be replacing every single mint on card photo from 1982 to 1994 with these remastered images that all look pretty much this good. In the last 3 weeks, we have scanned my entire carded figure collection. You guys have probably seen my little Toys R Us. We brought those up here 1 year at a time and scanned them. And so this is a scan of the card back from my collection, and I'll be replacing every single card back on 3DJoes with those. So basically better assets, new action figure image galleries. And here's a big reveal that people have been asking about for a while. I never set out to replace Yojo, and so I didn't want to do some of the things that they were doing. And one of those was, detail photos of all the accessories. I felt like 3DJoes was more minimalist, more artistic, more mobile friendly, but I wasn't going to try to replicate everything that they had done to create a space where both of us could coexist and have a purpose that wasn't, outruled by the other. That said, we are now moving into documenting every accessory. So this is the new setup that we've come up with. It's got a 1-inch grid on there, and we're basically sandwiching a transparency grid between two pieces of non-reflective glass, shooting the light through the glass so you have no shadows. So you have the figure and accessories facing upwards, and then you have them facing downwards, and then you have close-ups of the accessories, and then you have close-ups of the accessories flipped, and then you have each individual accessory as detailed and crisp and clear as it could possibly get. We refined this process and kind of hammered it out over the course of a couple weeks, and I'm very happy with where we landed. And so now the next step is to take that and basically do that across the line. So something I'll show you here, this is the 3DJoes basically heat map. This is all the figures, and you can see all those the turnaround photos, the geared up photos, the box art photos, the accessory photos. We've got a heat map of everything that is remaining to be updated on 3DJoes from 82 to 94. And so I'll personally be responsible for working my way through that. So that's my plan for the figures. We'll also go through and refine some of the earlier vehicles to bring those up to the level of quality of the later vehicles. If you look at some of the 1989 to 1994 vehicles, they're way better documented than the earlier vehicles. So now we got to circle back and make some improvements on those. So I'll be focused, along with a couple people that are helping me, on refining 82 to 94. James Kavanaugh is picking right up at 97 and going to be working his way forward on that. The declassified guys are going to be documenting a bunch of pre-production stuff. If you look at pages like the creator pages that are already up on 3DJoes, I've got interviews in the can for Guy Cassidy, who's a very prominent vehicle designer from 86 to 1990. He did the X30 to the General, basically, and a lot of big stuff in between. So I've got several hours of interviews with him, I think 3 hours worth of interviews. So I'll be building a page like Ron Rudat's with contributions from the guys from Declassified, helping like illustrate all the things that he was talking about. And then last Friday, I met with Mark Pennington, and we recorded for a few hours. And so we'll be doing the same thing with him. And he was the guy that basically replaced Ron Rudat when Ron got burned out. He did like 115 figures over the course of 5 years. He was ready to do something other than G.I. Joe. And Mark Pennington took his place. So from 1986, he was finishing up a lot of Ron stuff all the way through 1988. So some of the greats like Hydra Viper and Hit and Run are Mark Pennington creations. So we'll be creating a page for him immediately. But really, it's whatever anybody wants to do in terms of like the partners that are coming in to help out, whatever they want to build out. You know, I'm just going to do my best to enable them to build that out, and that will be what's coming. But it's kind of really it's for everybody else to decide, because they're given their time, they're given their energy, and they need to be working on building out whatever their interests are. So
here's an organization question from the Peanut Gallery.
Mhm.
I'm curious on figure info for variations. Will you be listing variations in print? And once you get photos, adding the photos, or what would be the process for showcasing every single way they came? So I think basically is for a character like Snake Eyes, who has 116 different variations, how are you going to make reference to all of those on the Snake Eyes page?
Yeah, so I kind of took that question a different way, but you might be interpreting it right. There's two ways to interpret that question. It could be talking about
both, man. We got time.
All right, so I'm going to go back to screen sharing for a second, and it could be that they were talking about sharing the actual variations of the figures, right? So if you go into Copperhead's a favorite of mine, everybody knows about the glove changes. You show the couple versions of them. I like to do these back-to-back spins, but we've also added the action figure image gallery, courtesy of Philip, and then we talk about those changes there. So we will be showing all the variations for the different figures on that specific versions page. You will see those variations. There's a clear delineation between what's a version and what's a variation. This is 2 variations of Copperhead version 1. So we will be showing it in that way. To your question though, Mike, you were talking about where do you show all the different versions? And so we will be creating a character overview page similar to what we've created for the yearbook pages. One of my favorite pages that I've recently put a lot of work on, man. This was probably a week and a half worth of work, but I wanted to show this because I don't think a lot of people have found it yet. If you go into the vehicles tab and then go to the yearbook page, this page is gorgeous. It's every single vehicle from 1982 to 1994 with, I had to edit the heck out of the box art to get them all to work within a square and, Photoshop out the text so there wasn't overlapping text with the new text that I built. But this is your yearbook page to go through and say, oh, wow, I remember having, let's say, the Tiger Cat, which I actually did have as a kid. And then that jumps you through to that page. So we will create a page like this for every character, and it will have, basically, it'll either be a morgue shot or an all geared up shot, or it could be a box art shot. That conversation still needs to be had about what the figure overview page is going to look like, but it'll be a page like this that links out to all the different versions. So that's the plan.
Excellent. Joe Colton, you have a question.
Yes. Okay, so I asked you this before we got on, but is there going to be a checklist? Because I would love one, because at some point I've lost a list, gained a list, made a list, and I've got things on, like I've got doubles of things that I don't need doubles of, or triples, or like 52 versions of things.
Yeah.
So like,
and that's a function that Yojo has that I thought was awesome. The ability on that character page to check, have it, got it, want it. Do they go down as granular as to be able to say, have the figure, have this accessory, don't have this accessory? Is there that granular level of detail on there? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't
No.
think so either.
My goal for whatever would be built is that you have that granular level of detail. So you have the figure complete, which means all accessories plus the file card, or you have the figure but not the file card, and you're missing this accessory. I would want to get granular with it.
So you go in and click, like.
I don't know how it's going to work yet, so I don't want to make promises that I can't deliver on, right?
Right.
But what's happened in the past was I gave a app programmer full access to all the assets that me and people that have helped me have created over years and years, and I let him have them free of charge, and he created an app called Joe Finder. It was Android compatible, and I got several compliments on it. But seemingly, maybe it's not available on the Android store now. So I don't know. Long story short, if there's somebody out there that wants to develop an app that's a checklist, I think it's long overdue. I do know there are a few apps that do this, that perform that function. Toy Collector is one of the ones that I always hear tossed around. So Joe, if you want something right now, I would say go to the App Store and download Toy Collector and see if that will meet your needs. But that's not a Joe specific one. That's kind of all toy brand lines, and it's not going to be obviously as elegant as what we make. So I would like to partner with somebody that wants to use our assets to make an app. And again, I didn't charge that Joe Finder guy anything to do it. He had to give his time. I had to give my assets, but it was to make something that I thought the community needed and deserved.
Yeah.
You know, so if there's anybody else out there that wants to build an app that wants to partner with 3DJoes and use these assets to make a checklist-based app that is granular, I think that's a great first project to do as soon as we have finished the Real American Hero accessory photos that I just showed you for Flash. So give us like 3 to 6 months to photograph every single one of those accessories. We're talking 500 figures times, you know, let's say an average of 5 accessories. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We're going to get it done. We're going to eat the elephant, so to speak. But once that's done, then we have the assets that we would need for that granular kind of checklist database system. So I hope it exists in the future, and I'm happy to help make it happen.
So tangentially related to that, a lot of folks have made note of the old Hoobit.
Yes.
That was on yojo.com. Are there plans to maybe have an app that provides that function?
It won't be an app. It'll be live on 3DJoes. I've been testing some applications that will allow me to perform that feature within the website, and so I can say with a relative degree of certainty that as soon as we finish the accessory photo documentation, we'll be able to build something comparable to Hoobit for the 82 to 94 accessories. And as soon as James is done doing what he's doing, I expect that we would implement that on the later years as well. So, yeah. Bottom line is we're going to be working on it. So be patient with us. This is like a volunteer thing. Nobody's paying us.
Exactly. It's one of those where you're getting a whole lot more than what you're paying for.
You're getting way more than you're paying for.
Give you a chance to get it done.
Yeah.
But man, this is huge news. It's we cannot overstate what a big deal this is.
Yeah, I think I've stressed Joe out with the amount of work that it is.
No, I'm excited. I'm just I'm one of those people that loves to organize, and I'm like a list person. So in my head, I'm already like,
get in there.
Organization help? Like, I'll help.
Were you digging that spreadsheet that I just showed you? Was that that's my sweet spot?
I'm like, it needs more colors. I need more indicators.
I don't know. There was a lot of red on that spreadsheet, Joe.
Yeah,
plenty of color on that spreadsheet.
Yeah, but me as an organizer, I'd be like, I need to get rid of all these reds. So I would just keep going, and just if somebody would bring me food, I'll just keep working until like there's no red.
Joe does government work. She uses spreadsheets that have like 64 colors.
Yeah.
You know, it's important. It's a big deal.
Carson, how excited are you when you're digging through, 10 characters in a row with 14 accessories each? When you get like a crystal ball that comes across, and you're like, oh, thank God.
I don't have any bad blood. Crystal Ball actually was enjoyable for me as a kid, and I was looking at the 82 figures. When you think about how simple some of them were, to your point about the accessories, I mean, actually go as far as 85, 86. Look at Flint. He came with a backpack and a gun. Like that's so easy. So there's just these sleeper characters that for some reason just didn't come with a lot. And yeah, that makes me happy. Because they're going to be offset by the 93, 94 characters that gave us 6 pieces of junk. You know? Oh my God. Don't get me started on the weapons trees, Mark. They were really just quantity over quality at that point. And I'll say
absolutely.
it.
5 missiles and guns they can't hold. And
I'm not one of those apologists that will say like everything they did was great. When they started weapons trees, it took the personality out of it. I want a character with a specifically designed accessory made for that character. And even as a kid, when I saw that, that's Rock Viper's weapon with like 6 different characters now on a weapons tree. What are they all doing with Rock Viper's rifle?
Yeah, and if you get a bad one, then you've got just a thumb breaking time bomb on 5 or 6 different guys. Like, come on.
Right.
They made Nunchuck version 2 without nunchucks. Because they gave him a weapons tree of 6 other bladed weapons. His name is Nunchuck, man. Give him some nunchucks.
Right.
Terrible.
I could just see him saying, look, like I'm done with the whole nunchuck phase, okay?
Yeah. Right? I moved on to blades, man.
Yeah, I've moved on. He was the moody teenager.
I'm so emo.
Right? Yeah. I don't want to see him.
Bad.
I'm cutting myself.
With all my new bladed weapons. Yeah, exactly.
It's got dark.
So, Carson, is there going to be a definitive starting point for this project? Is there going to be like just a date that you have circled on there where where just a bunch of features are going to get turned on at 3DJoes, or is this just be a gradual process?
I mean, I think I would expect more of a slow build. I know if there's anything you guys have probably learned about me over the last 9 years, I love building this stuff. There's an intense sense of enjoyment when you get done with a page. And honestly, I'm chomping at the bit to share it out with everybody, So I don't think I have the discipline when it comes to projects that I'm personally working on the website to hold it all back until it's ready and then do a big push. I also know from my marketing experience, that's not the best way to reach people. The best way to reach people is have a consistent communication with them. Do a slow drip, kind of what they call it in the business. So anyway, I would expect a slow drip of information coming out of 3DJoes, sharing the updates that we've been doing. And honestly, I've been pushing out a weekly update through the 3DJoes Facebook page, talking about how we've been scanning all the card backs and adding the accessory text and doing all the various things we've been working on. We just added all the Street Fighter figures for 1993. That was 16 new figures, a play set, several vehicles. So as I get
a great mental exhaustion for you as well.
I'm not doing the movie figures, man. Nobody's gonna talk me into that. That'll be maybe 9 years from now. You guys can push me into it. Now, if somebody else wants to do it, I will certainly enable them.
I was gonna say, if somebody else asks to do it, will you let them?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the thing. I think instead of it going under the figures tab and then 1993 Street Fighter 2, like how those went, it would be under another tab that would be like peripheral figures, because Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat the movie and Street Fighter the movie figures, they weren't branded G.I. Joe. They didn't have crossovers in the commercials with G.I. Joe. There's no brand reason for them to be included in the G.I. Joe or Real American Hero kind of run of figures. But I do think they'd belong off to the side, along with stuff like maybe bronze bombers that used licensed figure molds, for example. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, tangentially related, I guess where does the slope stop? If we're talking about merchandise and ephemera and paperwork, well, why not stuff that got licensed out to other lines and other toy companies?
But I don't want to make G.I. Joe or Real American Hero collectors feel like they have to collect bronze bombers because it's part of the line. You know, if it's included on, for example, if it's included on the yearbook page that shows every G.I. Joe that's on the yearbook page, I feel like collectors are going to see that, they're going to go through it, and they're going to feel obligated to chase those. But if I put them off somewhere else, like here's licensed stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I was totally agreeing with that.
Yeah.
Totally. Because that would drive a lot of folks crazy. A lot of folks that we know.
I mean, I used Mark Belomo's book back when I got into it in 2008. I had different colored stickies. I think Joe would appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
Green meant I had it and it was complete. Yellow meant that I had part of it, but it was missing something. So I had some notes on there of what was still missing. And then red meant I don't have anything. So I had my little color coded Belomo book. And, you know, if Belomo put something in his book 13 years ago when I was reading it to finish my collection, I would have felt obligated, like, well, I need to find that thing. So I'm very cautious about, you know, in building 3D Joes, I don't want to make people feel like they need to buy something that's only tangentially related. So
I appreciate your stickies. I had a similar system.
nice.
So we're getting to a point where we're running long. Do you guys have any last questions for Carson? Come on, Joe.
No, I'm just really excited. Like, this is great news.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've had it's been to this point kind of a disappointing 6 months with the whole vertical scope and how they decided to take care of their business versus our community. So this is really great news, swinging back the other way.
Yeah.
And we're thrilled, frankly, that you took up my offer to come here and share it with us first, man. You always have been, and you always will be part of the family. So we enjoy it when you come back and visit and have great news like this.
It's a happy homecoming for me. So thank you guys for having me.
I love the swing of it too, because we went, as a community, we went from hoping this outsider group wouldn't destroy something we all loved.
Mm-hmm.
And from hoping for kindness from strangers, it's a light switch to go completely the other direction and say, you know what? Here's a bunch of guys we all know, we all like, we all respect, and they're pooling their talent to make whatever vertical dope does with Yo Joe irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
like
it had to come from inside.
Care. Yeah, I don't care what they do with it because it isn't going to matter. It's going to get replaced and it's going to get upgraded and consistently evolved. So, and the photography is ridiculous, right? I mean, no offense to the guys at Yo Joe, because we love the guys. Well, the guys who were at Yo Joe and the work they did, but your photography is ludicrous, man. It is so next level.
I want to say first, thank you very much for saying that, Mark. But I also have to show the utmost respect for Philip Donnelly and Terry and what they were doing at Yo Joe over the last several years to upgrade the level of quality of photography there. Yeah, because I would have agreed with you 4 or 5 years ago. It's a 20-year-old site and it was crowdsourced, so it was gathered from all different kinds of people, and they took what they could get and they pieced it together. And what I like to say is 3D Joes was built on the shoulders of Yo Joe. There would be no 3D Joes without Yo Joe. And so I always talk with the utmost respect for the people that built it over the course of that 20 years. I'll talk all the junk in the world about vertical scope because they just paid some money for it and don't love it, and they're letting it die on the vine, and I have no love lost for them, right? But the guys that built it over the last several years were making huge strides in improving Yo Joe and the quality and caliber of the assets there. So much so, I'm going to pull up my screen real quick, that I've incorporated thousands and thousands of photos already. Let's see. It's not that one. Let's go to Mail Order Duke, for example. You won't find this page on Yo Joe, but you will find it here. And these are amazing photos by Philip Donnelly that were created for Yo Joe and given to me, right? So these are already here. There's thousands and thousands of photographs that have been uploaded to 3D Joes over the last several months. And this doesn't just cover the figures that Philip and Terry and a few other guys, Drew Haggerty, were willing to, give to me, they want this stuff to live on. They didn't, they didn't take these photos and do all that Photoshop work and put it up on this website just for some company to choke it out. And so they realized, like, I'm going to love this and take care of it and preserve it forever. And I'm a fan. This is like for fans by fans. So these photos right here from Chad Huckle, he's a good friend of mine that's been helping me out on my books for several years. All of his vehicle photographs have been uploaded to 3DJoes. So while I haven't necessarily been, blasting out and advertising all this stuff, there has been a tremendous amount of work going on in the background to take the very best from the people that I know and I'm good friends with, to preserve it and help build. That's an immediate injection of high quality assets. So I don't want to say everything bad.
Bad, right? And to be clear, no disrespect to Terry and Philip and the outstanding work they did on YoJo. And I'm thrilled that they are involved, because I can't even imagine what it's been like for them with all the work they put into YoJo to see Vertical Dope choke it, right?
I've told people many times, I've been doing this for 9 years. If I all of a sudden somehow got locked out and didn't have this creative outlet, that would be heartbreaking. That would be that would be a hard thing to accept. And so those guys know, anytime, open door, let's do it. Let's keep building, So it's an open door policy. And that also goes for anybody else that has contributed throughout the years and has good quality assets like these that kind of meet that. I'm not trying to be snobbish about assets, but let's be honest, like, I do try to hold a high bar. So if you've got high quality assets that you've contributed to the predecessor and you want to be on 3DJoes, all I need is your permission and the source files. Let's make it happen. Like, let's beef this thing up. That's a quick shot in the arm. Meanwhile, the guys from Declassified and Joe Intel and RAHC guides and myself and the people that have been helping me for years, we're going to keep building. And hopefully we're going to make something beautiful for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Awesome.
Yo, Joe!
There's no chance Paramount pushes this project out like 4 or 5 times, right?
Well, they're reshooting, Mark. Did you hear the news about this?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
That's okay, though. Reshoots are a normal part of the process, so that's a big deal.
At least it's not just for 3D this time, right?
They're not
for
3D.
Nobody bought that, right? I saw some guy online who was like, that's what delayed the last line. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's what I heard from a guy.
Look, when the pandemic shut everything down, they had just finished shooting. So, reshoots have to happen at some point. So, okay, this makes sense. Had they only finished like principal photography and kind of no makeup shoots? Is that what you're saying? Like, this probably was going to happen anyway? From what I understand, it's just part of the process. For where we are at for a movie with an October release, it's March. Reshoot.
I think it is reasonable though for people to be punchy and nervous given what happened to the last movie and the fact that we really have seen nothing. And that's all pandemic, handled. So that's nobody's fault. But if we just could have seen a teaser or something by now.
Or behind the scenes, like on stage filming or something.
Yeah. People would be more calm if we just had a little taste.
I was comforted by Larry Hama's words. He went to Canada and he saw the sets and he was there for some of the filming and he said it was legit and that the martial arts fighting scenes were legit. So if Larry's behind it, I'm feeling very comfortable. I think a lot of people were reading into they're doing reshoots. That means they focus group tested it and it must have not gone well. And so now they're trying to change things. And I think that's just people reading into stuff. And
I think you're right.
Don't panic.
Reshoots are a normal part of the filmmaking process.
Yeah.
It's just you sit and you're watching what's going to be close to your finished product, and maybe a shot doesn't work here, or maybe a scene doesn't work there. You redo them. That's all reshoots are. Is just work that sort of thing around to give yourself a better pool of material to put together your movie. So don't read anything excessively negative into the fact that reshoots are happening for the Snake Eyes movie. It's part of the deal. So, anyways, we are kind of the redheaded stepchildren in this one. We're used to getting whipped on this one, aren't we?
I'm telling you, That's borderline racist, but we're going to let it go. Literally, I'll allow it. But
Look, your
Just this once.
your giant hat is covering all that hair, so I couldn't tell.
yeah, but I still got no eyebrows, so there's obviously something going on,
I figured it was the shadows saving.
right?
You don't look like Odo from Star Trek, so you're good.
Well, that's the nicest thing any woman's ever said to me, so I'll take it. You don't look like Odo from Star Trek.
So we're already running pretty long. Our forgiveness, we are going to take a pass on post-soc. We had several letters come to us this week. We will get to those next week. Same thing with viewer questions. We took some of them when we were talking with Carson, but just hang on to anything that is going forward, and we will get to you the next time around. We do want to give you a quick moment of progress on the Plug the Damn Show movement. That is us trying to 500 subscribers so we can give away some G.I. Joe toys. And I've only got one free hand today, but that is classified Gung Ho and classified Cobra Commander here.
There you go.
We're just give that away for no particular reason once we get to 500 subscribers. As of
You looked at the number?
we're at 495.
Yes!
Come on, people.
So close!
So if you are watching this film, this presentation film, and you are not subscribed to our channel, shame on you. And we're sending Joe Colton to your house to smack you around.
Mm-hmm.
They might actually like that.
Okay, so
Right but not near the cot.
not near the
Not
top,
near the
Not near
cot.
the cot. Nowhere near the cot.
right? Yes. So we are 5 away. If this happens before we get to next week's show, then next week's show will be the one where we do the contest to figure out who gets those figures. And of course, once we get to 500, sky's the limit. We have another contest planned for when we get to 1,000. And hopefully, oh my God, please let that go faster than getting to 500 did.
It'll be fine.
Right? Hey, format changes are tough, and we've done okay with ours. So no problems there.
I'm loving the YouTube live streams, man. You guys have been doing great with it. I'm usually sitting here doing freelance work, and if it's design or animation, I've got you guys on in the background, and I love listening to you guys on Friday. So I appreciate you guys doing what you're doing.
We appreciate that, Carson.
Thank you.
Should you share us once in a while, would you? Come on, man.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share this video right when we get done.
Tough crowd. Tough crowd.
Look at him trying to be helpful, and I'm like going, more!
Right.
More! More!
All right, later action figure expert. Thank you guys for all tuning in. I know it sounds like this is a longer. It doesn't seem like 90 minutes is longer than you normally go, though, is it?
Oh, we're
Okay.
normally up in the 9,500 range, and we haven't even done shout-outs yet.
Gotcha.
Let's go ahead and get to shout-outs. We're even skipping what we got in. Nobody
Yeah.
got in anyway. Mark Weber, give us some shout-outs.
I think I probably better start with Terry Dezard and Philip Donnelly, just in case I overstepped, because we love them, and we love all the work that they've done, and I love that they're involved with our big announcement. I'm going to give a shout out to us for last week, saying we'd have huge news this week, and we did not oversell that. So
No.
next time we tell you we got huge news, pay attention.
Believe it.
And also to Jamie Sullivan, who's selling some not unique, but different size prints for some of his amazing wraparound G.I. Joe covers. And I think he sold out of the ones he was selling via Facebook, but has a wait list going. So we've mentioned him a couple times because he's had, all artists have had a tough year, but he had a really rotten bout with COVID. So if you could help him out, he's a friend of the show, a great artist, and a guy who really gets it. So if you want some Killer Joe art, want to help a guy out, check out Jay Sullivan on Facebook. He's got some really cool stuff available. And that's it.
Nice. I just pre-ordered his 1982, the OG 13 kind of setup, and also the one that's like all hands on deck, which is basically like every character. So I've got both of those. I'm going to mount them because I think it's a really cool concept. You get how they started and then what they got to. in
Yeah.
2 prints that are the same size. And these are smaller than the ones he did originally. So these are much more manageable for me. I can
Yeah.
find enough wall space for these 2. So I'm excited to get those.
When he did them originally, they weren't, too expensive for what they were, but they were like 5 feet wide, right? Like you really had to be, because you're not gonna not frame that, right? So you're looking at bringing it in, and then a couple $100 of frame work, and then somewhere to hang it where it's not going in a closet. You need a place of joy really to show that off. So I love that they're offering it at a smaller, I don't say more displayable, but you got more options with it. So good stuff there. So help out. Check out what Jay's got. I think you'll like it. And if you do like it, sign it up.
So a quick interruption on shout outs. Thanks to our last second guilt tripping, we are now at 500 subscribers.
Yeah, look at that. That is
That's
results.
right.
That is results.
500.
What?
Congratulations, guys.
For
Gals.
bending to my guilt-ridden will. I'm feeling it tonight. I'm tired. I don't know.
Nicely done.
But still, because we're gonna give it a week to stay at 500, and we're still gonna do the contest next week. It's gonna be a real easy contest to enter.
Yes.
Don't sweat it. There's enough going on with this one. We don't want to overload it. I don't want to overshadow Carson's big moment.
Yes.
This is all of our big moment, man.
Play with
Declassified, Joe Intel, RAHC guides, Philip, Terry, everybody that has contributed and is going to keep contributing so that we can all enjoy this resource, man. I never want this to be about me or 3DJoes. I mean, 3DJoes is the banner we're coming under, but it's not going to happen without everybody being on board and doing hard work, man. There's a lot of hard work ahead. So
know who your PR wing is.
Right. Yeah. Got you guys. My family. My What's on Joe Mind family. Got you.
I don't see him on any other show right now. I mean, right now, right?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
At 3 a.m. we'll see.
8 days ago, somebody was hustling on Carson. That's what.
Guess what, folks? The line starts there. That's right.
Joe Colt, who we got for shout outs?
Well, you guys, obviously, every Friday. I love our live stream and our craziness. I want to thank Carson for coming on and giving us the opportunity to release the big news, and Declassified, Yojo, Phil, Terry, Chad,
noted author
James Kavanaugh, and Joe Intel. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, I'm so excited for this. So thank you for doing this for the community and like coming together and giving back and giving us something that we've been missing for a little bit. And yeah, I look forward to it. I'm so excited.
I am going to give a shout out to the wristlock, Wes Whitlock. We're sorry.
Don't stop.
No.
I'm so.
Carson,
that poor man's gonna divorce me.
I just want to thank everybody that is, partnering up to help build something bigger than what I ever set out to do. It's humbling and very, very exciting, and also daunting because it's a tremendous amount of work. But I feel like with everybody contributing to it, there's no way it can fail, and it'll be incredible, and everybody will get to enjoy it. So thank you to everybody that I've been having these conversations with for charting the path forward, and we'll move in that direction. I also wanted to say thanks to Paige Wagner, because he turned me on to somebody that had a bunch of Griffin Bacall VHS masters for commercials from 1987, 1988. And I've been digitizing those like straight to DVD on this little VHS to DVD thing, and then and throwing them up on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. And these things are like super high quality. So I've had like the best last couple weeks, getting these tapes in and digitizing them. And
I have been going through and watching all of those, and they are crispy.
Aren't they beautiful, man? Oh. Because it's after the 87 commercial. A lot of times, this is the only times we saw them animated. So like Storm Shadow version 2, for example, you're only going to see him animated in these commercials, and these commercials are like so pretty, man. So thank you to Paige for looking out for me when he saw those tapes were available. And thank you, obviously, the big announcement. Thank you to everybody that's partnering up to help us make this way bigger than I ever could have. So
I'll shout outs first to you, Carson, and on the other end, I was also working on Sam quite a lot this past week.
nice.
Just getting you guys to work into the release, the information release schedule, so that we could just get you in here first thing and shout about this. We're very thankful to be a part of that process to just help get the word out, and hopefully, everybody obviously who watched this and the live stream already knows everything that's going on, and hopefully this gets a good run in re-recorded watches, so that the people know what's going on with 3DJoes going forward. Shout out to your entire brain trust on the site there. Fantastic news. To Joe and to Mark, to Rack Time Rob, the unsung fourth man of the team. To our sponsors at Kokomo Toys. Let's all sing their theme song. Kokomo, Kokomo, Kokomo Toys, Kokomo, Kokomo, Kokomo Toys. Yeah, that's the only answer to that is to drink. So Joe Colton has that correct. And of course, shout out to our subscribers, 500 strong.
501.
We're making some. Thank you for helping us achieve that one goal. It is the first of many as we move towards rebuilding our media empire. Such as it is. And to our fans, if you're watching this live, thank you. If you're watching this on recording, thank you too. And hey, that's it, man. Anybody got any fun last words?
Nope.
There should be a sign off like same What's on Joe Mind time, same What's on Joe Mind channel or something.
We could give a shout out to 501 people if we got
502 now.
I'd like to thank all 502 fans.
Yeah.
That would be a fun way to update the subscriber count at the end of each episode.
That'd be awesome. We just run it like the crawls on TNT.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. Okay, time for the next movie.
So remember, here on What's on Joe Mind on our fabulous YouTube channel, be sure to like our videos, to subscribe. You've done a good job of subscribing. Leave a comment down below and set yourself up for notifications so that you know every time we go live or put something on the channel. Pretty consistently Fridays at 9 p.m. Hopefully very soon we get to putting up some more pre-recorded content. And of course, as we have said for months, going back a year now, exercise your freedom of choice and choose to keep yourself safe and everyone around you safe by wearing a mask. Limit your time outside. I know that vaccinations are becoming a thing now, but right now, less than 10% of the population has been vaccinated. So we're really not that much further ahead than we were a couple of months ago in terms of this pandemic. So please continue to be careful, take care of yourself, and we will get to the end of this much sooner than if you don't. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I thought you had something else on there, Honcho. I thought we were.
Oh, I know a guy who got vaccinated.
Congratulations.
Right? It's about time I was first in something.
Right? What's got two thumbs, glows in the dark, and got vaccinated?
That's it, baby.
So anyways, for my guest, Carson Mataxis, for my hosts, Joe Colton and Mark Weber, I'm Mike Irizarry. Thanks for tuning in to What's on Joe Mind. We will see you next Friday at 9 o'clock. Thanks again for being here. Yo, Joe, have a great rest of the weekend.
Bye, guys.
Have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Be safe out there.
Oh, yes.
Let's give a shout out to the dog who was so well behaved on the couch. Killing it.
Well, past her bedtime. There you go. Or she figured out a way to dispose of the other one.
Right? There can be
Well, now
only
she knows.
one.
Right? Well, good night, all.
Two. It's like tribbles.